Poser, greatest podcast known to man, as voted by Day Day, Fletcher, Quaint, Love My Toe, Haratu, Minato, Ren, Eyoto, Soto, Rico, Ayo, Etsuki, Drombocus, Satrib, Captain Chloroform, Dietrich, Day Day. Welcome to another episode of Stop Crying Poser. We do this podcast every single Friday, right around 3:30 p.m. Pacific time. It is currently 3:42, meaning we are 12 minutes late, but we are fashionably late. It's been a very eventful week for me. Not so much in my day-to-day life, but on my internet life, it's been going crazy, dude. You think you start an Instagram to make people laugh, and then you make 99% of people laugh, and then you realize there's this other sect of people called like death threat autism that you didn't quite know existed, or you didn't know that they were all gonna like lose their fucking minds at the same time over a skateboarding trick. But it happened, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. Let's talk about how my week has been. There's been some ups, there's been some downs. Most recently, I woke up today only to notice that I left my oven on at 400 degrees for 12 straight hours because last night, after making and eating cornbread, I smoked some weed and forgot the oven even exists. And I'm sure it's not that big of a deal, but everything in my house is really old. I always fear that something's gonna catch fire, and I'm always like, well, maybe bad wiring. Well, maybe the dog knocked something over. Maybe a faulty cell phone charger. But I never imagine that it could be something that I did until today. And usually smoking too much weed, drinking the Steel Reserves late at night, yeah, maybe I'll put the Cheetos in the fridge or something stupid like that. Maybe I'll misplace the TV remote and put it on the microwave. Why did I do that? I don't know. Maybe I was watching TV and went to the microwave and walked back. It usually involves food, but I feel stupid about it. Not sure if that's going to affect my power bill because I know that oven's got the 240, the 220, whatever it is. It's higher amperage or volts or whatever. So not a big deal, just one of those things where I feel like if I publicly rant about it and I get it in my head to not do that again, maybe it'll be less likely to ever happen again because I feel really stupid when I do things like that. So also, my oven is very old. It doesn't have buttons the way that your oven has buttons and timers and things. Mine just has a knob that goes like left or right. Left is bake, right is broil, and then straight up and down is off. So what I did is I took these Ninja Lifestyle stickers that you guys will have an opportunity to win later in the podcast. I chopped one up and I made it like red spots, and I put red spots all around the knob so that now I can see if the oven is off from all the way across the room. And I feel like that means I'm doing something to prevent the problem from happening again rather than just forgetting about it. I feel like far too often I make a mistake in my life, daily life, and I just say, well, I'll just remember next time. I'll just try not to do that next time. And then, a common one, the most common one is I go skating on Tuesday or Wednesday. I come home, I capture my footage, I edit the footage live on Twitch, and then I just keep on going with my life. When my schedule would usually be to take the battery out of the camera, charge it, put it back in the camera. My routine, I was trying to think of that word. That's my routine. But instead, what I do is I either don't take it out at all. The next time I go film, I have no battery and I have to use a phone, or I put it on the charger and forget to put it back in the camera, or I put it in the charger, then I run in this room to grab something, I take it off the charger, I set it on the table, I never put it back into the camera, and then when Tuesday comes and I'm rushing out of the house, I grab the camera and the battery's right there. So that's just one common daily mistake that I do. If I could fix that with a red sticker, I would, but the red sticker on the oven, I feel like might actually help. Speaking of cornbread, Last week, we talked about the future of cornbread in the life of Ninja Lifestyle, a 5-part docu-series on the Lifetime channel. I did. Last night, we made cornbread. I made the sweetest dessert cornbread. There's 2 types, right? There's the savory cornbread with the cheese, and there's the the super sweet cornbread, more like a cake. In fact, I think the box that I made the cornbread from says corn muffin. When I think of muffin, I think of like a chocolate muffin, a muffin that would be next to like a birthday cake. I ate the cornbread. I mean, I know cornbread might be normal for you guys, but I'm trying to do new things. I'm always trying to expand my horizons. I made the new cornbread. I added in brown sugar. I added in honey. I added in melted butter. I added in sour cream. Did I say that already? I added in buttermilk. I didn't realize that buttermilk was something you couldn't drink. So I poured the buttermilk in. Then I grabbed a little bit of buttermilk and I drank it and I said, "Blech! What the fuck is this? How does this exist?" It was one of the worst things I've ever tasted. Well, top 2 worst things I've tasted this week, because I also for the first time tried 99 bananas fruit punch flavor. And you know, back in the day, you used to get sick and they would give you medicine that tasted so gross that you'd rather just be sick. They'd be like, "Here, have this cherry Tylenol, like NyQuil," and you'd be like, "Oh, it's cherry. Okay, I like cherries." And you bite it, and you're like, throw up everywhere. You're like, I'll take the flu, Mom. I'll just be sick. I'm not tasting that bullshit again." Kind of how I felt with the 99 fruit punch. Pretty good though. Pretty good when you mix it in with the Steel Reserve. You diluted it with the 8% malt liquor. Made it a little bit better. Why are we talking about that? Oh yeah, cornbread. The fucking buttermilk was disgusting. The cornbread, I tried to get it out the pan. It fell apart. It was awful, but the taste was great. It was so sweet and soft like a cake. Next time I'm gonna get, when I go to Walmart, I'm gonna get the muffin trays. Oh man, we're gonna make cornbread sweet muffins, and I put like a honey cinnamon like glaze of melted butter on top of each one. Oh my God, it'd be crazy. I said that's what we're gonna do next time. We're actually not gonna do that next time, because next time we're gonna add cheese and maybe even jalapenos, and we're gonna take out all the sugar, anything that's sugar related, and we're gonna find out which one's better. Because some cornbread seems to be made for a dessert, and some of it seems to be made to dip into chili or some hot soup. It's just chili, right? Or maybe served alongside like a steak and potatoes. I'm still not quite sure the context of where the savory cornbread is to be used, but I'm excited to try it. I also ate the sweet cornbread with ice cream. This butter pecan ice cream, took a bite of that, nutted in my pants. Oh, what a great combination. And then the cornbread started to crumble apart. So then I had this nice, soft yet crunchy texture on the outside of the cold ice cream. Oh, it was great, man. Speaking of food, last week I tried Hawaiian food. I've had Hawaiian food a million times, but I tried it this time trying to go out of my element. Usually, if I go to a Hawaiian place, I get the things that I know that I like. Last week, I went over there, and it was funny. We went to Hawaiian place number 1. It was closed. We went to Hawaiian place number 2. Number 2, the second Hawaiian place. Las Vegas is considered the 9th island. We have a huge Hawaiian population here. No shortage of Hawaiian restaurants anywhere. So I went to the second place. They said it would be a 30-minute wait. I said, damn, 30 minutes? I'll come back another time. I said, fuck it. I'll go to In-N-Out. At least In-N-Out. If you failed a food mission, In-N-Out is both delicious and affordable. I get that. I was going to eat it at home, put a bunch of hot sauce on it, try to make it into like a streaming spice challenge. By the way, all of this happened live on stream. So follow if you're not following. Anyways, I go to In-N-Out. I park right next to an Arby's, and I look up and I see, oh, another brand new Hawaiian place is here called Makai's Kitchen. I'm like, what the fuck is this? Who the fuck is Makai? I go in there. Prices were great. I got the Kahlua pork, like slow cooked pork, 2 scoops of rice, mac salad, which I thought was kind of not that good because it has this really strong raw celery taste. Then I tried the chicken katsu. They did it perfectly right there. I got in and out of that building in 30 seconds. It was like a Chipotle line where it's like a cafeteria line, and you go, I want that. Then I got the spicy poke, which is like raw tuna, which was a little fishy for me. I guess it's fish, so it's supposed to be fishy, but I feel like the fresher the fish is, or like the sooner it was thawed, the less fishy it may taste. Kind of blew it with that. Anyways, I don't know why we're doing a full-on food review, but I fell in love. Got the poke. I even had a Hawaiian soda from, it was from Hawaiian Sun. I can't think of what it said on the front of it because it was some fruit that I'm not familiar with. Speaking of fruits I'm not familiar with, have you guys talked to Jason Park lately? I like the Hawaiian food so much that I wanted to eat it with friends. You know, one of those things where you eat something good, you want to share it with friends. So now what we're going to do, there it is. Liki Koi Passion. Thank you, Quaint, with the photographic memory. Liki Koi Passion Punko. Oh, howly boy, the kind grinds. Oh, like scrap? That's what you say. That's the traditional way to say a prayer before you eat Hawaiian food. If you guys didn't know, it's exactly that verbatim. I want to share. I want to eat the Hawaiian food with other people. So we're going to go to the second place called L&L Barbecue. It's a big chain, but I guess it's also a chain in Hawaii. So it's somewhat authentic. I guess we're going to get the lau lau, which is steamed pork wrapped inside of a leaf. I don't know what kind of leaf it is, but the leaf is edible. And speaking of Jason, I asked him what to do. He said, when you order the food, make sure to bow 3 times. And then when you eat the food, just to prove that you like it, go, ah, oh. So I'm definitely going to do that as loud as possible at the restaurant. That was all a made-up joke. Please, no one do that. Please, no one ever do that at a Hawaiian restaurant, in case you think I was joking. But today we're going to get the lau lau, and I'm going to get the barbecue short rib. I hope I can do that. Then we'll try regular kimchi and some rice. You keep it basic, because that last place I got so many extras, it costed by the end, it was $24. Very excited, and maybe even my friend Elliot will join me. Can we talk a little bit about skating? We're probably going to be talking about skating for the rest of the podcast. We don't always talk about skating, despite it taking up most of my life. Typically, I try to make you guys laugh with my day-to-day life and social commentary and pop culture and things like that. But today we're going to talk a lot about skating. But first, let's talk about my skateboarding from this week. My back wasn't feeling good earlier this week. I said, you know what? Let's go out there and do something easy. Before the end of the year, I want to kickflip back tail this little square flat bar down the street. I think it will be easy, but I just get drained, man. My back hurts when I wake up. It's cold outside. My dog, now that it's winter, my dog wants to cuddle in the morning, and it's such a nice feeling. Big, wet, hot-ass dog on you. I don't know why I said he was wet. What? He's not wet. I don't know why. Why did I say wet? Cuddling my wet dog early. So I wake up and I piss on my dog, and then I pour water all over my bed. I cuddle my dog. I cummed everywhere. Okay, the dog's not wet. I was just trying, I was using wet in the slang term. The new gens say wet whenever something's cool. Like, man, that was a wet ass movie, dude. Hey, that hamburger was wet. Maybe I was secretly becoming younger. By the way, I got ID'd at the casino the other day. The lady said I looked like a teenager. And then only a couple of weeks ago, somebody said I looked like I was 25. Holy fuck, could you guys be more wrong? Anyways, it's hard for me to get motivated to get out of bed and go skate, especially when the sun goes down at 4 p.m. And I'm usually up watching movies and streaming until like 2 in the morning. So the sleep schedule needs to get fixed soon, hopefully. And I'm hoping right now the weather we have right now is going good. Anyways, I chose last week because my back was hurting to try an easier trick. 50-50 kickflip. The trick ended up being pretty easy. I landed it really good, considering that I haven't done the trick in a while, and it is a basic trick. But a lot of the times I set my goal for what skating trick I want to do. I set the goal kind of low. So I'm like, oh yeah, like how hard could this be? And then sometimes I end up battling some easy ass fucking trick for over an hour. Last month we battled kickflip front board for over an hour, and even though I landed it like 20 times, we were trying not to tic-tac and trying not to touch the truck on the rail. You gotta have some integrity. You gotta have some integrity when you skate these days, because no one else does, even the pro skaters, and we'll talk a little bit about that. But the skating was cool, landed my trick nice and easy, and I said to myself, I even said on camera in the video, it just got uploaded today on YouTube if you haven't seen it. I said in the video, man, I haven't had a perfect day like this in a long time. Everything went perfect. I landed my trick. It wasn't that hard. It wasn't that stressful. No one was annoying at the skate park. Everyone who went to the skate park, it was a great vibe. Everyone was working on something. They show up to the skate park to land a certain trick or set a goal for themselves. It's just perfect. A perfect world. I landed my trick. I even said, hey, have a good day. And the guy was like, hey, you two take it easy. Nice 50-50 kickflip. And I was like, oh, cool, thanks, man. You'll get that, whatever he was doing, varial flip up some ramp. I was like, you'll get that too. Just all positivity. I get home. Life is great. The sun is still up when I get home. And I say, ooh, this would be a perfect time to do laundry, because the sun is still up, so I can hang my clothing outside because my dryer is still broken. I haven't found time to either try to fix it myself or hire someone to fix it. You guys will remember last time I did that, I got a extreme electrocution, and probably the closest I've ever been to death via electrocution. So we're I'm kind of avoiding repairing the dryer. Anyways, I'm rambling. I get home, I do the laundry, everything is good. I'm smiling, I'm happy. Oh my goodness, life is good. I'm walking through the kitchen, I step in something wet. I go, oh my God, my dog peed in the kitchen. He hasn't peed in the kitchen in years. It must have been 5 years since the last time that dog peed in the kitchen. I called him over, I said, look at this. What is this? And I pretended I was gonna hit him, and then he kind of like scurried away. And I was like, oh man, he did it. And then I walked a little further. I was like, damn, this is a humongous piss. There's piss everywhere. I kept walking. There's piss all under the refrigerator. There's piss all over the kitchen. I opened the laundry room. There's piss everywhere. Every inch of the laundry room is flooded with piss. And then I realized, oh, this isn't pee. It's a drain clog. My washer tried to drain the water from in the washer. The main line clogged at some point. It pushed all the water out from the drain. Luckily, it was not black water. It was still like clean laundry water for the most part. It also pushed up a bunch of shit out of my other sink, which generally means this is like a medium, like kind of like high problematic clog. So not good. Ended up trying to snake that. Snaked it 25 feet the next day. I don't know if it's fixed or not. We're just going to find out. I'm going to make a slightly bigger load of laundry every time, and then we'll see if it clogs again. If it does, I'll have to call one of my plumbing friends. I have at least 2 close friends off the top of my head that are plumbers by trade. It's a really easy fix. Just kind of sucks. Also, I felt really guilty. So then guess who got a bunch of TREATS that day? You know who, the big KOOPA. I'm not going to say either of those words right now because he will come running into my room. So that was just one of those things in life where, of course, everything is going perfectly. You think you're going to get a good day. You think you deserve it. You landed a kickflip out of your 50-50 and it didn't take that many tries and you didn't hurt your feet and your back feels good and the weather's good and you think it's all just going to be fine. Psych. Ha! Psych. Your laundry's gonna overflow. Classic ninja lifestyle situation. Let's talk about Chris Joslin. I did a Chris Joslin review. Chris Joslin is a pro skater who arguably did the biggest skateboarding trick that's ever been done. I'm sure we could debate this. I'm kind of going to explain it like this because some of the viewers are not as into skating as I am or as some of you. So I'm going to dumb a lot of this down. Chris Joslin tried to do the biggest skateboarding trick ever done. He tried it like 8 years ago, and the skateboard broke. The truck broke. He fell off of the skateboard, completely fell off of it, and then said, "Oh no, I didn't land it. Fuck, that's terrible. What a terrible day. I suck at skating. I didn't land this. Maybe I'll come back another day so I can actually land it." But the thing with modern skateboarding is they're really into giving participation awards for anything. Basically, if you try a trick and fall, the new generation counts that as a land. They say things like, "Well, at least you tried it. I would have never tried it. At least you went for it. That's just as good as landing it." It's one of those things where it's like losing is the new winning. And I think people do that so they can convince themselves that even though they suck at skating because they have no work ethic, like all the beginners that suck really bad at skating, they've twisted the way that skateboarding is perceived into like, well, even though I can't land tricks, I try tricks, which makes me good. And now everyone is good. Everyone is positive, and we're all the exact same. No one's better at skating than anyone else. We're all equal. And that's the new generation, like, perception of skating, that no one's actually good and no one's actually bad, and hard tricks aren't actually hard, and lame tricks actually are hard, and tricks that only take a week to learn are still considered hard, and tricks that take an entire lifetime, 20 years, those are also hard. So everything has become like medium. There's no longer good and bad. There's no longer sloppy and clean. Everything is just jumbled together if you're a new generational skateboarder, including gender. But we're not going to get into that today. We're not gonna get into that today. But anyways, this guy tried a really hard trick 8 years ago and he fell. And the new generation made up this internet rumor that since he almost landed it, it counts as a land. The thing the new generation forgot is that Chris Joslin, being a pro skater that has pushed himself for years and years and years, he would have never gotten that good at skating if he had the new gen mentality. He would have done one tray flip on flat ground and said, "I'm the best. I never have to do this down anything bigger because I am the greatest and we're all equal and we're all good in some way." No. He instead said, "I want to be better at this. I want to get better. I want to be more consistent. I want to jump down bigger things. I want to eventually get sponsored. I want to eventually turn this into my life, doing something that I love and getting paid for it." That was his version of skating. I know that if I told that to a new gen, they'd be like, "What? You're trying to get better? No. I go to the skate park to sit down and text. No. Hard work? What if you scrape your elbow? Then what about the elbow? Will somebody think of the elbow? He's out there trying hard skateboarding. No." I know that that's how the new generation would look at it. But Chris Joslin's one of those guys where if he lands a trick sloppy, he will go back and try to land that trick again to be clean. Why? Number one, skateboarding is fun. Doing a trick twice, that's twice as much skateboarding, twice as much fun. Also, I mean, you want to get more consistent at the trick. If you can do it once, you can do it again. So if he heel drags or does a trick sloppy, he'll go back and do it again. Or this also applies if he completely falls on a trick and does not land it. It'll be one of those things that kind of eats away at you. In fact, they just did a mini series on him, I think, on the Lakai page, where he did a nollie backside kickflip over a big bank gap. And he couldn't do it the first time. He stuck it the first time, which new generation would consider that a land. But obviously, Chris Joslin still has his brain still functions, right? The functionality of his brain is still there. So he must have said to himself, "I'll come back another day and land this trick." And he did, which also applies to the giant 360 flip down the El Toro 20 stair, arguably the most famous, most well-known skateboarding spot in the world, mostly because of how few tricks have been done down it. And also because rumors of construction and the spot changing and skate stoppers and the rail changed a lot of different things happened that the skateboarding world had to stay up with, right? The spot is like the TMZ. Like if TMZ covered only skating, they'd be covering El Toro news every month. So anyways, he fell on the trick, 7-8 years ago, and he came back, did it again. The footage was finally released a few days ago, and the internet went crazy, especially people from my generation and the generation before where we are now. They looked at it as something so inspiring that someone could fall on a trick 8 years ago. You're only getting older, right? Skateboarding's not one of those things where you get better with age. It usually gets way, way harder with age to stay progressing and to keep your body in shape, which is why a lot of pro skaters, they end up going sober later in life so they can prolong their skating career, and they end up becoming like vegan and working out. These things would have been unheard of 20 years ago. A skater going, I'm going to quit alcohol and I'm going to start eating healthy and working out because I really want to be able to skate when I'm 40. If you would have said that in 1998, they would have called you a word that I'm not allowed to say here on Twitch. So the times have changed. And I think in that way, the way that people look at skating for longevity, I think it's very cool. I think it's great. So the fact that he landed this trick 8 years later, while also being 8 years older, made it really, really impressive. The video part as a whole was great. He dedicated it to, I think, his grandmother who passed away. And when he landed the trick, he hugged his family and his children. It was this nice, bittersweet moment. All of his friends were there cheering, celebrating. Just a really nice moment. In fact, there were several comments that said, I haven't skated in years. I watched this video part and a tear came to my eye. It would be like watching your favorite sports athlete finally get into like the Hall of Fame or something. Something like that, right? And it's also just before skateboarding doesn't really have these award shows, you know, the way that we have like the Golden Globes or the Streamer Awards, Academy Awards, whatever. They don't really have that. We have Skater of the Year and Trick of the Year. And maybe there's more stuff, but nothing else, nothing fucking matters other than that. And a lot of people are arguing about, should he get Skater of the Year? Should that trick get Trick of the Year? There's also a lot of other good stuff coming out. We're not going to talk about all that today. It would become a whole fucking skateboarding lame-ass podcast. But I do want to address the people that believe that he already landed the trick with a couple of simple questions. The questions are, if he already landed the trick, why would he do it again? Well, dumb people online would say, well, he just did it to shut up the internet haters. The internet bullied him into doing it. And then he went back and risked his life and his legs and did it again. It was the internet that made him do it. Oh, the internet made him do it? So if I get 1 million people to tell Chris Joslin to suck a dick, you think that he'll just be, the internet made him do it? You think that guy, you think he skates for the internet? You think he cares what the internet thinks? That's another new gen mentality. That's you pretending that Joslin is in your lame ass category of skating. He's not. No one goes back to redo tricks because the internet was too mean to them. That doesn't fucking happen. And if you believe that, then you believe Chris Joslin is a pussy. You can't have it both ways. Okay? If that guy got bullied by the internet and then went and redid a trick because the internet hurt his feelings, you are admitting that he's a pussy. It can't be both. He can't be bullied by the internet and then also be the cool guy that you think he is. You have to choose. And then some people will say, I would say, why did he celebrate so hard? So he fell on the first time, right? He fell and he went, oh no, fuck, damn it. Oh no, this is the worst day of my life. Usually when people land the biggest trick that's ever been done in skating, they don't go, oh man, fuck, that was shitty. No, it doesn't count. No, damn it. Oh, does that sound like what someone would say if they just landed the greatest skateboarding trick ever done to this moment? No. You know what sounds like? Basically, he's telling you he didn't land it. Okay, we have more. We're going to keep it going. When he did land the actual trick for real, the time he actually landed it, which has only happened once, when he did land it, he said, oh, I am Joslin. I just tray flipped El Toro. He didn't say, I tray flipped it again. He didn't say, I tray flipped it for the second time. He said, I finally did this trick that never counted before. And then he hugged his family and everyone celebrated, smiling and laughing. All the friends, woo, woo, woo. No one going, oh, fuck, damn, man, darn it. If it was any other trick in the world, like let's say you weren't looking. Let's say you looked away for a second and you heard someone fall off of a skateboard and you looked back and you saw them not on a skateboard. You saw them falling on the ground. And then everyone around them was going, ugh, fuck. What would your initial impression be? Would it be like, definitely a land? I can tell by everybody's body language that was a landed trick. No. How about every time your board breaks? You do a skateboarding trick, your board breaks. There are people out there that say, well, his truck broke. The skateboard truck broke. That means it counts. That's the rule. If your skateboarding truck breaks, everything counts. It's funny, I did a grappling tournament many years ago, and I did this grappling tournament at a karate federation, and one of the first guys to grapple injured his neck. He got injured on the mat, and they gave him a first place trophy. So there was 2 first place trophies. That's the new gen shit that I'm talking about. When you fail, you're not supposed to get a fucking trophy for winning. He showed up weak. He got his neck cranked. Didn't tap out in time. You fucking lose. You go home like the rest of the losers, and you live to fight another day. You come back 8 years later and do the trick for real. Okay, you new gen fucking weirdos that need to give a fucking trophy to everyone for every failure. Every time you break your skateboard, it doesn't mean you win. Every time your truck breaks, it doesn't mean you win. Also, point number 2. There were more than one truck manufactured in the world. I know that we believe that when Chris Joslin breaks a truck, that it takes 8 years for the foundry to pour more aluminum and steel to make a brand new truck. It takes 8 years. It has to be blessed by a monk that was trained in Judaism, and you have to climb to the top of Mount Everest to be blessed by someone with a magical wand, and then only then can the truck be used in actual skateboarding, in the skateboarding world, after it gets sold to like a shop like Pharmacy and then gets given to Chris Joslin. That's the only time the trucks are allowed to be made. But I've heard of places that actually manufacture trucks several hundreds per day. I've heard of it. Maybe it doesn't exist. There are more than one truck in the world. And here's the thing that other skaters have done. This might be a rumor. This might be totally unfounded, but I think that when skateboard trucks break, I think I've heard of a skater in some old legend that put another truck on his skateboard and then went on living his life. But that's just a rumor. That's just a rumor. I think that was before the rule happened where broken truck equals it counts. Now that broken truck means you landed it, I think now when people break their truck, they just, I don't know. I guess that's just it. They win. They win skateboarding and they retire forever because no other truck can ever be made again. Also, I'm just going down the list at this point. Remember that first time that he fake landed the trick? What video part was that the ender in? What? Since it counted, why wasn't that the ender of any of the several video parts that he's come out with since then? Since everyone agrees that it count, like the editor, the filmer, the skater. Since everyone agrees, everyone knows that one counted. Why isn't that the ender of his video part? Since we all know that it counted. Oh, it's because people that believe that are stupid. Those are stupid people. They're dumb. They want everything to be a fucking trophy. And I think what it is, I think it's like a reflection thing. They look at Chris Joslin and they want to see themselves. So the fact that Chris Joslin went back and did a giant tray flip, I think it bummed a lot of people out, because now all the tricks that they failed, all the shit that they failed in their life that they pretended counted, Chris Joslin just shit on you. I think that's why people are so passionate about this. They've kind of, they saw in themselves Chris Joslin failing a trick that's hard, and they said, that's me. Well, if I say that his failure, if his failure counts, then my failure counts. Yay! 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 Our failures count. I'm just like Chris Joslin. I'm just like a pro skater. Then 8 years later, Chris Joslin was like, no, actually, I sucked dick back then, and now I'm good. And so then all the people that were cheering were like, oh no, he redid the trick? No, but now I have to. But I'm too weak and shitty and lame and untalented. I can't redo my tricks. I'm not like Chris Joslin anymore. I think I'm gonna go on Instagram to Steve Hates Skating and send him a death threat. Oh man, this could be an episode of fucking South Park. I swear to God. But yeah, I think that's the mental side of it. Also, I jokingly, this is the best part. So I did the review and I gave Chris Joslin's video part a perfect 10 out of 10. It was a great video part. I think it inspired a ton of people, and it was edited great. Everything was perfect. I really enjoyed it. Even the steroids, I loved it. But as a joke, I put on I have to say as a joke, I have to tell everyone there's a joke happening now because of the time period we're in. As a joke, I put a frame from when he landed the trick, and it almost looked like his heel is touching the ground. You can clearly tell that it's not touching the ground, but I put an arrow to the heel, and I put like a face that was like, is it touching? And then I put at the top of the page, I put, watch the full review before you DM me. Basically what that means is, if this obviously satirical picture offends you, make sure you watch the video part so I can pad your soft mentality. I can give you like a pillow for this joke, because it is a joke. And it is offensive, but if you watch the video part first, you're going to know just how silly and harmless it is. Here's a nice pit. It's like insurance. I gave you a nice big bouncy foam pit for you to handle a silly Instagram post. So, of course, nobody saw the full video, and I got dozens of death threats and people angry saying, what the fuck is your problem? I'm gonna kill you. The heel is not touching. You can't do it. You'll never be as good as him. Are you stupid? I want to kill you. And I don't ever respond to those, because I think they get funnier over time, because anyone who's gonna send one like super triggered message is always going to send another one and another one and another one. I have some people that have been sending me crazy triggered messages for over a year, and they've never gotten one response. So if you look at the amount of time spent that some of these guys spend going, I fucking hate you, you piece of shit loser, then a week later, they say the exact same thing. Then a week later, they say the exact same thing. And that happens every single week for a year. And then after that year, I scroll up and I go, oh, January? Oh, it's March? June? He's still right. He's still typing. December? That, for me, that is like, that's the fun part. Like later down the road, reading all these guys' fun part. Also, side note, the other fun part is seeing all the people that are super angry, and then they realize that now my page is like popular, and now I'm kind of like backed by pro skaters, and then they start apologizing. They're like, yeah, so all that shit I said a few months ago, I was wrong. I actually think your videos are really cool now. Oh, that's funny, because my videos never changed. The only thing that changed was you're now allowed to say I'm cool. Before, you were trying to impress everyone around you with your mutual hatred for me. But now that everyone else likes me, now you have to like me. I love it. The whole point of my page is to make you guys think for yourselves. When you see a toe drag, you don't say, well, he's a legend, so it's okay. No, you say, that's a toe, that's the ground, they're touching, case closed, those are the facts. Like, I'm making you open your eyes and actually see what you're supposed to be seeing. So, my work never ends. The job still needs to be done. But some people are waking up. The switch up is absolutely insane. And the reason I'm doing such a long rant about Chris Joslin today is because that review of that video part got 5 times more views than anything else that I've uploaded like all month. So obviously I'm going to title this podcast, I'm going to write something about Chris Joslin, and more people will click it. And hopefully more people will be exposed to my sense of humor and my jokes. Also, I said some crazy shit about the new Jinwoo part, but we're not going to talk about that today. For that, you're going to have to wait until, I think, Monday or Saturday? I'm not quite sure. I still have to edit all that stuff. Anyways, would you like to win a free Ninja Lifestyle sticker pack sent directly to you for free? All you have to do is answer this trivia question correctly. Spell the word onomatopoeia, but capitalize all the O's. Spell the word onomatopoeia, but capitalize all the O's. Why did I say it like that? Well, it's because I know a lot of you guys in the chat room use voice to text. So I know you motherfuckers would just write onomatopoeia and then hit send. So I had to hit you with that curveball of capitalizing the O's. Also, what other podcast in the world gives away free stickers every single podcast? There is none. This is the greatest podcast known to man. On my page, the first winner is Haribo. Haribo, send me a message on either Twitch or on Discord after the podcast with your information, and I will send these to you on Monday. Anyways, that's all I have for the podcast today. Can everyone give me a hell yeah in the chat so I can shout out everyone that chose to tune in live? We do this podcast every single Friday, right around 3:30 p.m. Pacific time, right here on twitch.tv/Ninja Lifestyle. If you tuned in late, don't worry. You can catch the repeat of the podcast on Podbean, on Spotify, on iTunes, anywhere where podcasts can be found. Extra big shout out to Bueno, Fletcher, Buff Pebble, Quaint, Day, Bueno, Merkster, Drombocus, Love My Toe, Satrib, iBook Boy. Extra big shout out to iBook Boy for resubscribing for his 57th month in a row. Also shout out to Hunter, Hunt NYU, I guess, for his first ever subscribe during the podcast. If it's your first time watching me on Twitch, I promise it's not always like this. It's usually a lot more chill. And shout out to Love My Toe for the 4 bits. I love when you guys support the podcast. You don't have any money? Well, get a job. I love when you guys send money, but I know not everybody can do that. That's fine. But you can still support the podcast by telling a friend. Tell your uncle, tell your coworker, tell some homeless bum that you see walking down the street about the greatest podcast because you know they have a smartphone and internet access. So tell everyone. I don't want you to talk to any person today without telling them about Stop Crying Poser, greatest podcast known to man. Shout out to Fat Res Monkey. Anyways, the official podcast is over now, but the Twitch stream will continue, so don't go anywhere. Anyways, as I always say, I hope everyone has a great weekend. Don't drink too much and don't drink too little.
Miss Joslin's tray flip didn't count, then that means every trick I've ever done doesn't count!